Justice Warriors. Hello, good morning, Justice Warriors. How are you guys doing today? It is December 13th, Tuesday. It's just after 8:30 in the morning, East Coast time. And wow, December 13th. So it's been a month since the Idaho 4 killing. Wow, what a month it's been. So I am happy to be on here doing a live after taking a little hiatus off of lives for it was about a month actually. And when this case first broke, I really was not going to cover it for a few reasons. One, because it was heartbreaking as heartbreaking gets. Two, because Kylie Rodney. And three, just trying to keep my focus. Just too much for 20, 21 year olds. That's just hideous. Hey, MC3POWY. Good morning, good morning. So my mod is here and Pixie Knicker is here. Pixie Knickers, good morning, Jazz. I've missed your lives. Well, thank you so much, sweetheart. I've missed them too, and I am hoping to get back into the routine right now, today, this morning. I'm just coming on here to hit you guys up for a quick one since I told you yesterday that I would. And I got to get that blasted application sent. It's pretty much done, but it's never done. So I was hoping to have it sent out last night. I'm hoping to have it sent out this morning. It's not due till the day after tomorrow, but I just want to be done with it. So anyway, I got on here to say a couple of things about the Idaho 4. Everything I say is simply my opinion. Everything I say is simply for the sake of conversation and hopefully opening up a discussion, potentially educational, and last and certainly least, entertainment. But I just always want to acknowledge that because of the nature of YouTube and these videotapes that I make are specifically for YouTube. Good morning. Is it Willie's Faux Real? Good morning, sunshine. So let me address a couple of things with this case that have my attention right now. First off, I want to direct people, if you have not seen Crime Circus, his channel, Drip Drop on Crime Circus, he put out another Jack D video yesterday. And the one that he did last week that I think he got 50,000 views in a day, I believe that is still up, but it's behind a paywall that he just had to take it down from being so public because it was so explosive. His opinion, very explosive. So let's see, who was it? Allegedly with Brittany that put most of that videotape of his in her live that night. So it was about a 15-minute videotape, and she has at least 10 minutes of it in her live from roughly 6 days ago. It's the one that has Nancy Grace in the title, if you're interested. And I think it's extremely interesting. So if you have not caught that Crime Circus video, that was basically his case for why he thinks Jack D is the number one suspect, I highly, highly recommend it. So he came out with a part 2 yesterday, and he did a really good job of, tempering it down and just making sure that everybody knows that nothing he says is anything except his opinion, right? And it seems like there is a little bit of trouble in some of the comments that I see on my channel too. Everything I say is simply my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. If I think it's true, if I have reason to think it's true, it ain't slander, okay? I don't think people understand that. If you have reason to think something is actually true and you say it, it's not slander. If you are just making shit up for the sake of drama and slander, then yeah, it is slander. Which, speaking of making shit up, and I don't want to miss all your great comments, but oh my goodness, YouTubers that do that, Anybody who does that, whether they're on YouTube or not. But the YouTubers who do that just make all of us look like idiots. So, let's see. You are looking good today, as always. I really love your hat. So cute. Aw. And you're aware of what's been admitted on 4chan? Huh. I'm interested in what you're talking about, Willie's faux real. I haven't seen that. What is on there? Hello and T. Willie's for real says yes. Hey Justice, good morning A to Z. That hat is the best. Hello from Alabama. Good morning, True Crime and Faith. Have you heard anything about a new person of interest? I've heard about a couple of persons of interest, and of course, no stone should be left unturned. However, I want to share with you a couple of reasons why my person of interest, my primary person of interest, remains as such. And actually, Drip Drop said it really well yesterday in his latest video. Um, I saw someone posted that this morning, so wondering if you had heard. So yeah, I've surfed around and seen a lot of what is new overnight, but I'm not taking time to look at too much of it until I get my damn application sent. So, and honestly, I think that it's all just a bunch of fodder. I honestly think it's a bunch of fodder because we are just hanging at the edge of our seats on pins and needles. There's a crazed, savage, ruthless killer on the loose, and that cannot be downplayed. That cannot be downplayed at all. So, the thing that Drip Drop said yesterday in his tape that I want to make sure to I finish that thought is he was speaking to that post of Kaylee walking up what looks like the stairs of a boat in a at the end of a vacation to Hawaii, probably. That's what it seems like from the post. She says something like, "Don't miss me too much, Hawaii." And then a couple of years later, Jack D makes his really stupid comment about a cum rag. I'll just say it. Anybody got a rag I can borrow? I mean, completely twisted and demeaning and just rude, rude, not entertaining at all, not the least bit. Okay. And so then a couple years later, she gets hacked, to put it bluntly, and some guy makes a comment to Jack's post, did comment from 2 years ago, and he says basically, your comments are creepy and you look sus. And Jack addresses him, tags him right away, and says, you're the sick one, basically, um for stalking. He doesn't say stalking, he says stalking a deceased person's bikini pics. Okay, talk about distancing language. A deceased person. This was the love of his life who was completely taken out a week prior. And he refers to her as a deceased person. And he's really not even referring to her. He's referring to her pictures. He's referring to himself, and he's referring to the guy. Like, she's way down on the list of what he's thinking about. And he's thinking about her simply as a deceased person. I'm not reading into that. Okay. That tells you everything you need to know right there. I'm not kidding you. Okay, I'm going to read a few of your comments here. I saw someone posted that this morning, so I was wondering if you had heard. Hello from Colorado, two of them. I just hope they're found soon. So strange. So yeah, one of the few videos that I did catch this morning, a couple of them. One was one of the News Nations and an interview with Ashley Banfield and Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough, I have a great deal of respect for. He's got his own channel. He's retired detective. Um, the investigation room? No, the interview room is the name of his channel. I do have a great deal of respect for his channel. However, I have no respect for the interview that he did with the people that were breaking down the interview with Sammy Smith in the Kylie Rodney case. I just want to put that in there because, you don't have to agree with somebody across the boards to still support them, right? So Chris McDonough said a couple of interesting things. One was that he was on site on Thanksgiving Day. He was there in Idaho and he spotted a glove by the trash can at the crime scene. A glove. Does that remind you of anything? And let me just add here that Mark Furman lives in Idaho, and I hope to God he steers clear of this case. Again, he did do some really good work for the Martha Moxley case and getting Michael Skakel put in jail finally after Martha Moxley's murder from 1975. Mark Furman did some really good work there, but we all know what Mark Furman did with the O.J. Simpson case, and that's just too much. He was trying to redeem himself with the Martha Moxley case. He almost kind of did, but yeah, not really. Anyway, a couple of things Chris McDonough said is he was very critical of the Moscow Police Department for not impounding those vehicles a lot sooner. Okay. His opinion, and I agree, I concur, is that the cars should have been impounded immediately, like day one or two. And the other thing that he said with that, and this is news to me, I had not heard this before, so I wrote it down and wanted to share it with you guys because I thought it was fascinating. That when you do an investigation like this, you do not investigate from the inside out. You investigate from the outside in. Have you guys heard that? Ashley Banfield had heard that. She said, yeah, that's how you do it from the outside in. But I literally have never heard that before. I thought that was fascinating. And then I think DDK says, wow, you were onto something. And I don't know if that's to me or to somebody else. Oh, okay. Yeah. The disassociation sounds like Jack's comment. I'm sorry, I'm behind. No, True Crime and Faith. You are right on top of it. Disassociation is a really good verbiage to use there. I was using that distancing language, which is what you hear people talk about so much of in true crime, the distancing language. That tells you a lot. Prayers, this killer or killers get caught soon. If it doesn't fit, you must quit. Dang it. Dang it. Good morning. Meaning the are Willie's to real, are you talking about the disassociating from the fact that he should be absolutely horrified and devastated beyond measure about his loved one getting her life taken from her, not to mention his three other acquaintances or friends that were also murdered? He should be so much destroyed from that that he doesn't care what's on social media. And if somebody is saying something obnoxious or annoying to him, you would think a more natural response of an innocent person would be like, oh my God, like, can you not be like that when, we're over here devastated because four people have been murdered? Can you like not be looking up a post from years ago and making comments? But no, he jumps down this guy's throat and he doesn't even do it with the right words. Like he says stalking instead of stalking, like he doesn't know, unless that was spell check, of course. And then he calls the guy's account a fluke account, which I've never heard a fluke account. Let me know if you have. I call them fake accounts. I call them sock accounts, but Jack called it a fluke account. And I thought, did he just make that up or is that a thing? Anyway, why is he worried about that? Why is he worried about this guy's fluke account when he's should be so traumatized and destroyed that he could barely get out of bed or eat or drink or wash his face. I mean, seriously, come on. That's extremely informative that he's talking about this deceased person over here and her bikini photos and this guy stalking them with his fluke account and attacking that guy for being a creep when who cares if that guy's a creep? Your people have been slaughtered. Why would you give a crap about anything? I'm just being blunt, okay? I'm behind, but I've always heard it was from the inside out, like closest fam, friends, acquaintances, then out. Interesting. Yeah, that's maybe um with like the people you go from the inside out, but with the actual crime scene, they're saying you go from the outside in, which I found fascinating. But yeah, you would want to go from the outside in just logically because you could spend a lifetime inside analyzing all the DNA and evidence and miss something like a bloody glove by the trash can. And I'm not saying that that glove had blood on it. I don't know if that glove has anything related to this case, but you want to block off your crime scene and move from the outside in, I guess, so that you don't miss stuff like that. I don't know. Like I said, it's news to me too. Burner accounts is what I call them. Well, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah, yes. Outside in, Willie's Terrell says. He's so weird. And I'm imagining you're speaking of um Jack D. Yeah, he's really creepy. So I put up a picture yesterday on my community page of Jack D. I think it's from probably high school. Him and Kaylee, they look very young. Um, and it looks to me like he has fangs, his eye teeth. And I don't know if he might have like little braces on or something, and that's kind of highlighting it. But it just looks not only like vampire fangs, he looks extremely creepy. Like his eyes, in my opinion, his eyes are Chris Watts' eyes. Soulless and hollow and soul-sucking. I'll just say it. Um, what I refer to as an emotional vampire. To me, he looks like an emotional vampire in the eyes, just in the eyes. And then to see those what to me looks like maybe um almost, how do I say it, like a fluke, a fluke that his eye teeth look like they're coming down, like the way his mouth is. Check out that photograph. I did nothing to it except zoom in. I did absolutely nothing to it. I wanted to like mess with the lighting and stuff to make it look spookier, but I didn't want anybody to accuse me of putting any filters on it. I did nothing except zoom in, okay? And to me, it looks like he's got fangs and it creeps the fuck out of me. I'm just going to tell you, he creeps the fuck out of me. Everything about him creeps me out. Everything from the ground up. Um, so by simple logic, he would be your primary suspect. By the way he has acted, he would be your primary suspect. By the way the dad looked at him on stage during the memorial service, in my opinion, suspect number one. Simply my opinion. Whoever did this would have to be very tall, strong, solid, and evil, or there were two people involved. Thank you for adding that, Joanne, because I have wanted to mention something that I've learned about Jack D, which is that I've mentioned it once before. He's some kind of tennis star, I believe, from high school. I don't know if he played in college, but he's got a very strong tennis arm, apparently. And he also looks extremely tall. He looks maybe 6'4". I've been asking around because I thought he was at least 6'2", 6'3", but I was trying to be conservative. He towers over Kaylee's father. He towers over pretty much everybody on that stage. And I believe Kaylee's 5'5", was 5'5", and in pictures standing next to him, he is at least 8 inches taller, and she probably has on high heels because, a lot of young adults like her enjoy wearing high heels. So anyway, if you just the 5'5" and you add 8 inches, that would be 6'1". But like I said, she's probably got a couple inches on her heels. So I've heard that he might be as tall as 6'4", and I'm going to guess that he is. I saw your community post on Kaylee's dad too. I feel so horrible for all of them. Her dad is the most vocal so far, though, along with the sister. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. True Crime and Faith. I think it's whack how people are criticizing her father. 100% whack. Like, can you imagine? Can you even imagine? Again, the fact that he is speaking publicly at all when he probably can't function, can't sleep, can't eat, and he's out there speaking, and then people want to critique him and say he's this, that, or the other. You know, this case is stupid, in my opinion. I'll just speak in simple layman's terms. This case is stupid. They've got at least one completely unhinged maniac running about, whether that person is still in Moscow, still in Idaho, still in the US, we don't know. But we know for a fact that we have at least one complete monster that doing what was done to those 4 college kids, that person has no regard for life, period. My biggest fear is that, like many villains, they will take themselves out in a hail of gunfire with as many people as they can. And I really am sorry for saying that out loud because I hope I'm wrong. I hope that nothing even close to that happens. I saw the video Jack D had out of him balancing an axe on his chin, also balancing a very large, heavy cabinet on his chin. Strange and creepy. That's, I'd have to agree. I did not hear about the cabinet one. I did see the axe one and just thought, okay, whatever. But yeah, why is this guy balancing things on his chin? Like, who does that? Is he like some kind of, I don't know, Conan Barbarian weirdo? Sounds like it. What Jack was it that left the country? You know what? Avoid Ice too. I don't know that any of the Jacks have left the country. A lot of people were saying that Jack S left the country, and they were saying that that was the Jack that was on the videotape footage from the grub truck. But really, I don't think whoever is on that video footage from the grub truck, I don't think that's been a solid ID with who that is. And I don't know that there's solid information that anybody has left the country. There's a lot of rumors. And yeah, we're all out here speculating, but we got to understand that speculation is speculation and not to run with it. So I've been very disappointed in some of the YouTube creators that I've seen that have just ran wild with these things. And sure, people could accuse me of running wild with Jack D. Um, and that's their opinion, and they have every right to have that opinion. I personally don't think I've been running wild. I think I've been a little bit on the conservative side, actually, and just trying to point out the obvious because it's so easy to miss the obvious, and it's so important that we don't. I'm going to read a few of these. Maybe he's practicing for the circus. Lady Luck, lucky lady, thank you for making me laugh. Um, and then where did you see that? Oh, True Crime and Faith. Are you talking about the balancing the heavy cabinet on his chin? That is pretty wild. I'd like to see that too. True Crime and Faith. I think maybe JLR showed it. And dang it, who's JLR? Help me out here. Sorry. Gotcha. I just heard that last week he went to Africa. And again, I think you might be speaking of Jack S, whose family is a bunch of physicians, and they do go to Africa quite frequently to do missionary kind of medical work. So, I can't imagine that anybody could get to Africa short notice with COVID and since 9/11 with everything. If this jackass did go to Africa, my guess would be that that was well planned and that people are making too much of it, but I don't know. I'm not the expert. I don't follow JLR after the Gabby Petito case. Jonathan Lee Richards. I am glad that you brought him up. I had not been watching his channel that much, and I've been watching it some lately, and in my opinion, he's doing good work, but I know that people are divided about him. Um, it can eye opener, that's for sure. Jonathan Lee Riches, yeah. Um, and so let's see, the couple other things I wanted to share with you guys. The Moscow Police Department captain came out and spoke. I caught it this morning. He might have come out and spoke yesterday. He looks a lot like the police chief, James Fry. Um, and I don't like either one of them. I just they're both kind of sleazy and unprofessional in my opinion. Simply my opinion, which I'm allowed to have. And I'm not going to apologize because I think that this case should be led by professionals who handle homicides and mass homicides, aka the FBI, US Marshals, or something. Not the Moscow Police Department that handles a bunch of drunk college kids. I mean, they're like babysitting the college kids, basically, right? Of course, there are real crimes that happen and they have to manage that, but this is a crime of the century. Absolutely. And there's no margin for error. Any margin for error right now could cost the entire case and could cost many, many, many more people their lives. Thank goodness there was nothing at the graduation ceremony, but man, they need to apprehend somebody like now. Like, I don't think that's being too demanding. I heard one of the experts say yesterday, "Oh, well, it took 5 years in the Delphi case." Oh, okay. So if it took 5 years in the Delphi case, it's okay for them to take as long as they want with any other case? No, that Delphi case is hideous. Am I right? It's freaking hideous. You do not take 5, almost 6 years to arrest somebody when you got 2 kids, not just killed, but a lot of other insane, horrible, gross, gross, tragic crap. Okay? Um, Obviously that hits a nerve with me. Just because some other case has been mishandled doesn't give everybody a license to mishandle all the other cases in the world. Give me a fucking break. Damn. Okay. So this Moscow PD captain was admonishing web sleuths. Grr. I don't really consider myself a web sleuth, but some people might. Um, but I look at somebody like Gisela from Grizzly True Crime. I look at somebody like Zav Girl. I look at Paula Plunder. I look at um, Kelly from What's the Obsession. To me, these are serious web sleuths that are definitely pushing cases further, in my humble opinion. And I do think it's extremely important for people to be responsible with everything they say and do, whether it's in a YouTube video or in person. And so I am horrified by like the noise with Joseph Morris over the weekend. I'm horrified by the crap with that UBEC guy. It's really stupid, and I mentioned them yesterday. It's not too late for them to redeem themselves and just step up and be men with integrity and say, "My goodness, I am so sorry. I got all caught up. I made a bunch of missteps. I'm going to do better." I mean, that's the best you can do. That's really all you can do. But you got to own it, and you got to apologize, and you got to take action, in my opinion. But the reason why it really upset me with this Moscow PD captain criticizing or, bashing web sleuths is I live in Ohio, and a lot of people in Ohio remember the Steubenville case. A lot of the people nationwide remember the Steubenville case. Steubenville happened almost 10 years ago. It's a town over on the eastern side of our state by Youngstown, and it's a football town, and it is a rapey town. And these Steubenville MFs made a heinous crime against a young woman that went unpunished. And a bunch of web sleuths about 8 years ago, so like a year later, maybe 2 years later, maybe it was 7 years ago, I didn't look it up, found online that nothing had happened as a result of this horrible essay, this multiple horrible essay. And these web sleuths dug into it, found out that the offenders were protected, you know, protected, maybe like people in Truckee. And the web sleuths did their work, and a couple of them got put in prison. Okay. That was where I discovered web sleuthing kicking some butt. Steubenville, Steubenville, Ohio. Look it up if you haven't heard about it. It's phenomenal. And when I saw all of this a few years ago online, I was like, who are these people and why are they out there fighting anonymously for people that they don't even know? And you know, I think it's a beautiful thing. Yes, I think they're all keeping that BS going like a jack in the box. It will always pop up if you keep spinning the handle. I don't agree with Jeff. It's messed up. It takes away from what is important. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the infighting, what a waste of time. People just need to chill, in my humble opinion. Okay, what else did I want to touch on before I wrap this one up? And thank you guys so much for being here. I'm thrilled to be back into my live thing for a whole 24 hours. And I'm thrilled that you guys are here because I wasn't so sure how it would be shifting gears. Shifting gears is a different kind of thing in this whole YouTube science experiment that I've been doing the last 100 days or so. Um, so back to the web sleuthing, I feel like it is extremely, extremely imperative that none of us hinder the investigation, that none of us interfere with the investigation, and expressing our opinions and speculation should not be a hindrance or an interference. Okay. That's just freedom of speech, and we are allowed to have that. Um, these police in Moscow claiming that they're keeping information safe by not showing their cards. Of course, that's what police do. Of course, you keep information safe, but it's your duty to serve and protect the entire community. And you've got crazed, maniacal killer or killers at large. And if you know who it is and you're keeping a close eye on them and you have them under surveillance, then good. But if you don't know who it is, not good. Not good at all. We love hearing what you have to say and the no drama BS. Oh, you're so sweet. You are so nice to say that. For Gabby's case, he and his people planted that water bottle in the reserve. No bueno. Now, true crime and faith, I'm curious. Gabby Petito's water bottle was Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia, who was like, "Oh, look at me. I'm just bouncing through the grass looking for stuff. Oh, a water bottle." That was Chronicles of Olivia. So I don't know if she had people working with her, but totally uncool and definitely should be prosecuted. My opinion is that the guy who did that crap over the weekend should be prosecuted too. I mean, this is real life. Yes, it's YouTube, but it's still real life. When the police stay this quiet, I tend to wonder if they haven't made a mistake that they don't want exposed. I agree, lucky lady. Um, okay, that was JLR. We're together? Ah! I hope he's gotten a clue. I hope he's figured out that that was ridiculous. Thank you for letting me know because I didn't know the history with him and why a lot of people were opposed to him. I haven't really watched him that much. Honestly, I did watch Joseph Morris for a while, and I thought I liked him, and then I caught on that he was not a good one to be watching. So I had stopped watching a long, long time ago. But, same thing with the UBEC guy. And, I don't like to speak negatively about other content creators, but I want to bring this up in the context that it is on us as individuals, as people, to figure out who we can trust and who we can't trust. And, we can all help each other out. It's always nice to get recommendations and to know if you do trust somebody, to know who they trust, right? And sometimes people come to me and ask me questions like that, and I will gladly tell you all the people that I do trust. I will gladly, gladly, gladly tell you that. However, I try to be conservative about telling the public people that I don't trust because I don't want to be, just because I don't trust them doesn't mean that they're not trustworthy. Or just because I do trust them, that doesn't make them trustworthy either. I could be getting fooled also, right? And even the best, most trustworthy individual is still human and still will make a mistake. Absolutely. We will all make mistakes. And it is on all of us to admit that when we do and to own up to it and to apologize and to straighten it out. That's all I can say on that. Um, so I wrote something down about Kylie's blue ball cap found near Prosser on the Live with Tony. Do you guys remember that? Again, one that I don't like to bring up because it's never anything good, the All American Dream Chaser. I remember him having a live where somebody was doing kind of like with the water bottle with the Gabby Petito case. They were like, "Oh, look, it's a dirty blue baseball cap. I wonder if that could be evidence." And Tony said, "Oh, yeah, that could be evidence." And it just seemed really stupid. But that's a thing. That is a thing. And that blue ball cap description matches the blue ball cap that Nick, the tow truck driver, says the person that he believes is Kylie was wearing on that day of Saturday, August 6th at 11:30 in the morning. So I'm wondering if that blue ball cap might have the same type of relevance as this glove out by the garbage can. It could be nothing, like when this blue ball cap was on a YouTube channel on a live feed. I thought, that's ridiculous. All kinds of people have lost all kinds of things by that lake and many others, I'm sure. But you never know. You never know. And you certainly need to collect things as evidence, untainted, and test them, run the labs. So hopefully that glove outside of the crime scene there at 1122 King Street, hopefully that glove was taken into evidence and tested. I did see something online this morning about the victim's hands being bagged. So let me go over that real quick for anybody who's not familiar with that. And I see True Crime and Faith says blue cap. Jagger said in a post, "Oh, I wondered where that cap went." Oh, I missed that. Thank you, True Crime and Faith, and smiling in. Um, Another neighbor I have just heard about recently is a neighbor. His surname is Harsh, and he's a chef near the house, and he heard a scream about 4 a.m. That's, Joanne, that's the misinformation that Joseph Morris was putting out over the weekend. So that was like a fabricated piece of fake evidence, and it's a pile of malarkey. So let's just these people. So Thing was, it was never reported to the Caltopo app that the blue cap was found. That's interesting. So, the thing about putting baggies on deceased person's hands, the police do that to preserve evidence. So they just wrap up the hands with plastic baggies so that in the autopsy they can test, say, under the fingernails, maybe testing for gunpowder, um, whatever it is. That's the bagging of hands. So if you guys have heard that term, if you're not familiar with it, um, it's just so sad. These people and their families, and here we are, the last 12 days before Christmas. Come on, please, law enforcement, get it together and take the criminal or criminals into custody. This is not okay. If this murderer, these murderers, whether it's one or more, if they take themselves out, if they take somebody else out, no, that is completely, completely beyond acceptable. Law enforcement, do your job. That's my plea. I'm going to wrap it up here. The screen was make believe attention seeking lies. The scream was, I said screen. Thank you, Maud. And no, I did not hear article yesterday and how Kaylee's dad described what the coroner told him. Um, did you read the article? No, I have not. True Crime and Faith. If you want to share anything about that before we wrap it for today. And then hopefully tomorrow we will just get right back into this live routine because I get a lot out of it and it seems like a lot of you guys do too. So I would really enjoy that. Squirrely Burger says, thinks it's irresponsible to discount the girl that committed suicide. Yeah, seems like it. Well, it's well known that Maddie and her friends were the cause of her taking her life. That's so tragic. That's so tragic. There are a lot of complicating factors. You know, these murdered victims, of course, did not live in a vacuum, and of course, they could have had people mad at them for many things. Um, I feel so strongly that this is a crime of domestic violence. I'm just going to leave it at that. I feel so strongly this is a crime of domestic violence. And nobody wants to recognize how fucking prolific and awful domestic violence is, in my humble opinion. Okay. So yeah, it could be, it could definitely be, and it's horrible. Anybody committing suicide, anybody getting bullied is just freaking awful. Law enforcement need to do their investigation thoroughly. She took her life at 21. Very angry father, just like Kaylee's could possibly want revenge. Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to go and do something like that in revenge of a suicide. That's just my opinion. I could certainly see taking some action, but taking four people out like that is so above and beyond rage, above and beyond violent, above and beyond heinous. It's out of this world. It is out of this world. It's like supernatural. I mean, you could say it's satanic. So, well, I better wrap up. My doggy's telling me. So, let's see. It's horrible justice. Be prepared. He said big gouges and that she wouldn't describe it as stab worse. I don't want to say it here, but look up Kaylee's dad describes wounds. True Crime and Faith. Thank you for saying that. I think it ties in with my feeling of vampire teeth. I'm only going to say that. Anybody who is interested, please look up Mia Zapata's murder in Seattle in 1993. That that went 10 years unsolved. She was horribly disfigured. I'm concerned that this is going to be a lot like that. It's a horrible place to wrap it up. So let me try to sage the room as I wrap up and get puppy dog outside. I don't even know how someone is capable of giving wounds like that. How is it even possible for one person? Um, Being completely crazy. I mean, you know, most of us are restrained. And even when we're angry and hurt and violent, we don't do things to hurt ourselves or other people. Um, Somebody is out of control. And that's why I am so critical of this investigation and these people in this law enforcement. Somebody is beyond out of control. If they did that, there's nothing they won't do. Absolutely nothing they won't do. They need to be taken off the streets like yesterday or last month, right? So I'm going to say, please have a great day. Take good care of yourselves. Drink your water. Get your applications in. Oh, wait, that's for me. Get my application in. Hit the like, the thumbs up, share, subscribe if you feel so moved. And I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you always for your support. Thank you for your comments. I'm sorry, I'm sure I missed a million great comments here. And I'm just so overwhelmed and distracted by trying to get this blasted application out of my life. So today's the 13th. It's due the day after tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I can hit the send button maybe in the next hour or two, fingers crossed. If not, by the end of the day, praying. Um, I think that's everything, you guys. Peace out. Definitely eat your protein, eat your fruits, your veggies, drink your water, get your exercise, relax, be kind to yourself. Tell everybody to screw off that's not being kind to you. Oh, wait, that's not kind either, is it? But no, I mean, sometimes you just got to fight fire with fire. It's important to protect yourself, right? But I tell you these things because it helps me remember. So thanks for listening. And I will look forward to seeing you guys hopefully tomorrow morning, right around the same time, like 8:39, somewhere in there. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again. And end.